I have prepared some pretty nice fights for you today. I started to fly my cruisers a little bit more aggressively, and that's because of the new build on the Orthos, which uses the torpedo launchers. Now let me quickly jump in the Orthos. Last time I did say that I will start using the new build with the new rigs and A-type modules. Well, I stumbled upon a massive problem, and that is the power grid on the Orthos. Even with the rig integrations that I have prepared for this ship, I still lack around 120 power grids in order to use this ship with full A-type equipment. So I practically wasted around 5 billion in rigs, and I wasted a lot more for the modules, but I will still not give up on the idea. Now that means that I really need to buy the higher tier rig integrations, the 70 or 80% ones, couple of them, and I will most likely need to use all tier 4 rigs, which currently is quite expensive, but I will not give up on the idea and I will get the Orthos working with that exact build. Now, because of the fail that I made with the previous build, I had to practically change all the modules back, and I had to change all the rigs back, because with that specific build the ship is only usable with torpedo launchers or rapid missile launchers, because it will not have enough speed and it will not have enough DPS with the normal medium missiles. Basically a Orthos that will be specialized for the close to mid-range combat with the torpedo launchers or with the rapid missile launchers, which is a very nice idea, and I will be working towards achieving the goal. Now, currently, with this build, with the old build that I did use so far, I'm actually pretty happy with the results. This ship is a lot more fun to fly if you start using it at close to mid-range, but it's also a lot more risky. And I think most of the fun actually comes from the risk that you have if you attempt to use the Orthos for close range. It works, it's risky, it's fun, but still, if you want to use the classic Orthos with the normal medium missile launchers at 40-45 km range, that's basically the easier way how to fly this ship. And I will admit, the Orthos is definitely one of the most, I would say one of the most difficult ships to build, because it has so many issues with the capacitor and with the power grid that it only can specialize for one certain thing. And of course, here are the old rigs. I still don't use warp optimizers on the Orthos. Now let me quickly go and show you the differences between the tier 3 and tier 4 rigs. So basically, I will also go with the tier 4 missile rigs, and most likely will go for the higher tier combat rig integrations with the tier 4 rigs, which in return will cost maybe around, I think, 10 billion ISK or something like that. That's basically, I think, my estimate. However, I might be wrong. I really have no clue on how much these modules cost. They are currently very, very rare. And I think one tier 4 rig goes for like 3.5 to 4 billion, which is almost as expensive as the Orthos itself. So yeah, these things are quite expensive and currently quite rare. The tier 3 rigs are still good, still nice, but well, I want to break all possible limits with the Orthos. Basically, I want to have the highest possible DPS on a cruiser. My estimate is 3.6 thousand DPS on the Orthos with the tier 4 rig integrations. So that's actually some pretty terrifying DPS for a cruiser. And I want to break the 3000 DPS barrier on this ship, which I think I will achieve very quickly. Okay, I did show you some available tier 4 rigs, the navigation rigs, which are still quite expensive. So, that's basically what I have planned for the Orthos. Still, the current build is nice, but it does lack in some aspects, like the tank is practically non-existent, and that's one of the highest problems that you will stumble in this ship. But the DPS for a quick hit and run operations is really nice. It can kill a lot of battlecruisers and battleships in a short amount of time, and of course you can also play around and use the missile guidance computers to improve the torpedo range if you want to avoid the scrambler range of other ships. Now the second ship that I will fly today is the Stratus, and I actually almost made a big mistake 2 days ago. I almost actually sold this ship, but decided to actually fly it a little bit more, and I had some pretty good fights and I had a lot of fun flying the Stratus. So yeah, this ship is definitely going to stay. I don't plan to part ways with the Stratus. This ship is amazing. The best possible tackle in the game. I haven't really changed much on this ship, still using the same default rigs from before. However, I also plan to fully integrate this ship, and for that I will also wait for the tier 4 rig integrations to be a lot more affordable and to be, of course, a lot more common. Still no nanocore for this ship. I thought that we would get a nanocore, but I was wrong and we got the same Sengen nanocore for another season, so I will practically wait for the next new nanocore. Hopefully it will be a good one. Basically, I think I will improve the drone DPS or the speed on this ship. And this is basically the build that I like to use. There is several different builds that I like to optimize according to the target, but most of the time I run triple scramblers with one large Nosferatu, or I run dual scramblers, one web and one large Nosferatu with dual medium armor repairs, and sometimes I also run this build with dual scramblers, one web and one scanner, which is honestly more than enough to hold a lot of ships. And of course you can also use a large armor repair, but I found that using dual medium armor repairs is actually really good. I like to use the dual armor repair build on the Stratus. It has pretty good repair speed and it's actually very easy on the capacitor, which is very important when you have to hold your targets or when you like to solo roam with the Stratus, which is of course one of the more fun ships to fly in this game. Alright, well, my apologies for the long intro. I had just had a lot of things to show you. And now, let's go out and let's blow up some ships, because that's what I actually love to do in this game. Okay, now our first target is a Prophecy. I am in the Orthos with the
Warp
torpedo
drive
build.
active.
I will fly the Orthos most with the torpedo build. And later I will show you some fights that I had with the Stratus. I had some really good fights with the Stratus, and that ship is really fun. Okay, warping towards the Prophecy. It should be a pretty good warping. There is the Prophecy. I miscalculated for a couple kilometers. Let's quickly burn towards the Prophecy. They are using faction drones, so this is going to be one very expensive Prophecy. They have been scrambled. I will move into optimal range. Torpedoes have been engaged, and I will orbit at 0. Prophecy in 50% armor. They are using group armor repairs, so the tank is not going to be that difficult to break. I am taking some shield damage, but I am good. And the Prophecy has been destroyed. Nice. Let's take a look at the... Well, I think I hit jackpot on that one. I might be mistaken, but I think I saw at least 3 Republic Fleet Valkyrie drones.
Warp
And
drive
that is
active.
around 300 million just in drones. Let's take a look at the kill. Well, not bad. 811 million and some pretty good loot. That's around 400 million in loot right here. Maybe 450. Let me align myself and let me open the cargo just to know how much ISK I made with that one kill. 401 million, well, not bad. I'm actually very happy with this result. Well, that was a pretty good first kill, not gonna lie. Okay, let's go towards the next target. I think we have another prophecy. Not really sure who the next target is, but I will find out that very soon.
Warp drive active.
My apologies, it's not a prophecy. We have one Caldery tier 8 assault battlecruiser that is at 100 kilometers from the mission, and the best warping spot was from the gate. I should land really close to them, so I don't have to worry about any issue with the scramblers. The battlecruiser doesn't seem to be aligned, which makes the tackling even easier. They have been scrambled, webbed, and now I'll proceed to orbit at 0. This is a sniper battlecruiser, so they will definitely not hit me orbiting at this range. Even if I am webbed, I will still orbit at a decent velocity, and the battlecruiser was destroyed. Nice. Okay, not bad loot. Let me warp out before I lose internet connection and the ship randomly warps towards a station or Stargate. I will warp towards the asteroid belt, because why not? Let's actually change the warp out location. Usually I warp
Warp
towards
drive active.
another anomaly, but now I will warp towards a asteroid belt. Not a bad kill, pretty good loot. We got some railguns and I got some shield boosters, I guess. Couple of them. I think I saw 2 of them, not really sure. Maybe it's only 1. But in any case, it was a pretty nice kill. Okay,
drive
let's go
active.
towards the next one. We have another battlecruiser. Now I think I did mess up the warping. I was a little bit slow to react, so there's a high chance that I will miss the next target. And I think I was correct. Yeah, I have landed a little bit far away, and the ship seems to be aligned towards the station or towards the planet, but I suspect at the station, and they warped out before I could apply my scramblers. Well then, that's okay. Let me try something out. So I warped to the station. I basically logged off for 3 minutes and I logged back in, and I've heard that they have returned to the mission, so let's see if I get lucky. And I think I did get lucky. Excellent warping. Let's quickly orbit at 0. They have been scrambled, they have been webbed. Now I will proceed to orbit at 0. I have also been scrambled and I have been webbed, but I should be good at this range. They are using large railguns and they should not have enough tracking to hit me at this distance, even when I am webbed. And that was a very nice kill. And also nice loot. Well, I got a lot of railguns today, that's for sure. I guess my Hyperion is going to be happy to see the extra railguns in my hangar.
Warp drive active.
Now let's warp out and let's take a look at the kill. Well, not bad. Actually a pretty solid defense with the dual webs and with the scrambler. Although I was prepared for
Warp
that.
drive
Basically
active.
I had a good warping, so I could easily counter that. After all, the Orthos is a cruiser. It's still fast, although it's kinda slow for my taste, but you know, it's still faster than most battlecruisers. Okay, now the next target is a prophecy command, and I have to go to point the target. There's a chance that they have a lot of stabs. Now let me quickly go in optimal range. My apologies for the weird cut, and my apologies if you heard any loud noise. That was something outside, not really sure what happened, but it was really loud. Okay, the prophecy has been scrambled and has been webbed. It seems to be tanky. After all, it is a prophecy and they are known to be very tanky. Although my DPS is more than enough to go through a lot of the tanky ships in the game. And that was a very solid kill as well. Okay, let's burn away from the mission. I was the prophecy's primary target, but my shield booster has enough repair power to help with the incoming damage. Not a bad kill, actually a pretty solid build. 662 million ISK, which is actually pretty solid. Although the previous prophecy was a little bit more expensive. And the loot, well, unfortunately the cargo hold does not want to load. Happens sometimes, not really sure why that's the case. Alright, let's go towards the next target. We have one Gila. We are fleet warping towards the Gila. Basically,
Warp drive active.
this is one of the ways how to deal with a lot of stabs on a ship. Although the scrambler strength on the Orthos is pretty good. I have 10 points of scramble power on this ship, which is actually enough to defeat 3 tier 3 warp co-optimizers. I'm burning towards the Gila to web and scramble them. They have been webbed and pointed by the Vigilant. Now I will apply my own scramblers and I will apply my own torpedoes. And we are doing some pretty decent damage on the shield of that ship. Both of our ships are actually focused entirely on DPS, so that Gila is withstanding around 5000 DPS, I believe. Maybe a little bit less, but around that number. And that was actually pretty quick. That's one way how to deal with a tanky cruiser. You just send 2 high DPS cruisers to combat the tank, and it worked really good. Let's take a look at the kill. 1.5 billion, not bad. Pretty good kill mail. They did use one medium shield booster, although I would personally use a large shield booster on the Gila. Maybe dual large shield boosters with capacitor batteries. That's, I think, one very solid fit for that ship. I still have to fly the Gila for PvP. Okay, we have a Prophecy 2 command, and I have now jumped in the Stratus.
Warp drive
Now,
active.
I have a pretty bad fit at the moment. I did not have enough time to change a lot of things. Basically, I slapped the rapid missiles and I was rushing to go towards the target. Did not want them to finish because they are on the last ship. And they have faction drones, which is very tasty. And I look at a very good target here. Now I'm already within optimal range, they have been scrambled and they have been tackled. Now usually the Stratus, if you are using it at close range, you should use it with the afterburner. Use a scrambler build on the Stratus, because that's not a good idea. But unfortunately I did not have enough time to change the build much and I'm stuck with the current build. I also use a large armor repairer, which works, but dual medium armor repairers are just a lot more easier on the capacitor. Now this prophecy has some pretty good DPS. As you can see, they are slowly going through my tank. I have been webbed, although no scramblers at the moment. But I am doing my job as tackle ship really well, and I will hold as long as I can. The capacitor and the armor slowly running down. That's also why I like to use the large Nosferatu. It really helps out in situations like this. Okay, my hull has been damaged and that means it's time to go.
Warp drive active.
I also have no capacitor left. I will be back, by the way. Once the warp is finished, I will turn around and go back in the mission. If the prophecy stays alive until I return. Okay, prophecy to command. Let's warp at 17 kilometers. The capacitor is slowly recharging.
Warp drive active.
I wish that I had more time to change my build, but I guess it's okay. I still managed to tackle the battlecruiser. That's a tier 10 battlecruiser, by the way, very expensive, and they can be very lethal. I think that's one of the best battlecruisers in the game, and overall a pretty good drone boat. 2.2 billion ISK. Well, that was a very solid kill. Very nice kill. And another successful Stratos tackle. Well, let me see where the wreck is to collect what remains of that ship. Okay, there is the wreck. Let me also repair my armor. That was a very good fight. If I had the previous builds, I would probably last a lot longer, but unfortunately that's how the situation went, and I'm not complaining.
Warp drive active.
Was fun and still very successful. Okay, well then, let's cloak and let me change the build. Now this is a lot better. And now let's go towards the next target. So the next target is a Phantasm that I will go and tackle with the Stratus. The Phantasm has a bonus on afterburner speed, so I have equipped one web instead of the large Nosferatu. That's because I don't want the Phantasm to burn away from my scramblers.
Warp drive active.
So let's see how this encounter will go. Hopefully it will be successful. I will warp cloaked as usual. There is the Phantasm, and this Phantasm is actually moving, so I will have to slowly approach them, and I think they're actually going towards my direction. They are very close to the beacon, which means I could warp away towards that anomaly and warp maybe at 5 or 10 kilometers.
Warp drive active.
That should throw me at around, I would say, 10 kilometers from the Phantasm. Or if I am lucky, it will throw me right at 2 kilometers from the Phantasm, and then I can immediately tackle the ship. The Stratus is the sneakiest cruiser in the game. It can immediately engage a target after it decloaks, and that's why I actually really enjoy flying this ship. Not many targets can escape a Stratus tackle, and that's basically how you fly this ship. Okay, let me see what I'll do. Okay, that's actually perfect. Right in the distance that I wished. Phantasm has been webbed and scrambled. I will approach to orbit at 0. It's still a Phantasm, so I expect them to still be fast. But still fast, but a little bit slower because I have the web on that ship. They're trying to burn away and warp away, but that's not going to work. I believe they have one aura stab in the low slots because I don't see the tank being that good on the Phantasm. The Phantasm is now at around 55-60% shield. Now the Phantasm is at 50% shield. They use a medium shield booster based on the amount of shield they boost every cycle, which is easily defeated by the drones and by the torpedo launchers. Phantasm now below 50% shield, rapidly going down. They have been extra webbed, so now the Phantasm is definitely not going to go anywhere. And the Phantasm has been destroyed. Nice. Okay, pretty solid loot. We got some C-types, a medium afterburner, C-type medium afterburner, which is very nice. And of course, the prophecy did go after my drones, which is something that happens
Warp drive
a little bit too often for my taste. Each time I fly the Stratus, I lose a couple drones. I guess that's just how things go with this ship. Alright, now let's take a look at the kill, waiting for the kill to be posted on the fleet chat. By the way, excellent work from my teammates. They were very quick to respond on the tackle. Very bloodthirsty, but I guess that's what pirates do. They like to destroy ships. 1.2 billion, I was correct with the one aura stab in the low slots. And they also had a web and a scrambler with some warp core optimizers. This is why I fit at least 3 scramblers on the Stratus. And as you can see, it works really well. So far, no ship has escaped from the Stratus scramblers, and I think that's not going to happen for a very long time.
Warp drive.
Let me quickly warp away because the Macarial did land a little bit close to me. Next target, we have a prototype battlecruiser, and I am slowly burning. I'm slowly burning towards the battlecruiser, and they are also using a afterburner orbiting, and of course with the afterburner they're actually a little bit faster. So I will have to manually fly a little bit in order to go in the scrambler range. But with a little bit of luck, and I think that's going to happen, the battlecruiser will slowly go towards my ship because they don't know that they have a Stratus lurking around. Let me just adjust the ship's trajectory a little bit, and now they are heading towards me, which means soon they will be within the scrambler range. Now they are moving away from me, but They are almost within range. Okay, let's tackle. 13 kilometers. After burner on, drones out, they have been scrambled. And the battlecruiser has been tackled. Same procedure as with the other previous ships, orbit at 0 and destroy the target. I think the terrifying aspect of a Stratus randomly popping in while you're running the mission is one scary aspect of Sister of Eve ships. While they're meant to be exploration ships, pirates like to use them for PvP, and it's fun. It's very fun. They are now into hull. Most pilots that I know panic when they get tackled with a Stratus like this, because the ship just pops out of nowhere and you're already tackled by the moment you can respond. Unless you're waiting for them. That's a different story. That was a nice kill, by the way. Let me warp away and let me cloak, and then I will show you the kill. Not bad. Actually a pretty solid build if we ignore that one stab in the low slots. But overall, not a bad build. Could be a little bit more tanky if they used more adaptive armor hardeners or a capacitor battery or another armor repairer. Okay, let's go towards the next target. What do we have here? We have a battlecruiser. Okay. I warped really close to it, surprised that it didn't uncloak me. So they're around 100 kilometers from the gate and they are not aligned. So let me quickly go to change my build. I will go to equip the large Nosferatu. The optimal warping is at 100. It should land me at around, I would say, 5 kilometers from the ship. But first let me go and change the build. Now I'm just showing you the procedure that I'm usually doing when I scout a target first. I first scout the target, then I dock, and now I will proceed to change the build because I need the Nosferatu just in case. Where is Nosferatu? There is the Nosferatu. It can fit. Okay, well I'll just go with the other one. And now let's undock. And let's proceed with the tackle. So next thing I do is warp towards the closest warping, which in this case is the Stargate. While warping, I will cloak to have the element of surprise. Helps if the target is aligned or if they are expecting you. I also warped at 100, which means that I will not be decloaked by the gate. If I accidentally warp at 0, then the cloak will most likely get disrupted because of the close proximity to the gate. Orbit set at 0. Now let's go here, let's go to combat and let's warp at 100 kilometers. And well, hopefully I'll be able to tackle this target without a problem. Now in warp, should land really close to the battlecruiser. They don't seem to be aligned, so I have enough time to change position if necessary, or if I have to do any other adjustments, but I think I don't need to do that. And excellent, 10 kilometers from battlecruiser. Let's decloak and let's engage the ship. They have been scrambled with 2 scanners, now with 3. And now I'll proceed to orbit at 0. Now I would personally say that you should decloak when you are 2 kilometers away from the target. That way you can ensure that you go on the 0 kilometer orbit, and if they have webs then you don't have to worry about them. But in my case I decloaked at 10 kilometers and it was still a successful tackle. They are now into low armor, now into hull. Usually the sniper ships don't stand a chance if they get engaged like this, because usually they don't have enough tracking to hit the Stratus or any other ship. And that was a very nice kill as well. Okay, let's warp away and let's cloak. That was a very nice target and a nice kill.
Warp drive active.
Now let's take a look at the kill. Well, this is the same pilot from before. Well, today they did meet the Orthos, and now they met the Stratus as well, both of which are lethal ships. Okay, let me wait out the criminal timer. Now the next target, this prophecy was lucky the first time. I tried to engage them with the Orthos, but I failed. I had miscalculated the warping by a couple kilometers and they were aligned and they have warped away. But with the Stratus, it's a whole different story. I was waiting for them and eventually they have warped back, and of course they have been tackled. Seems like they are after my drones. Let me pull back the drones. Let the ship take damage so that I can take out the drones again. The prophecy is in low armor. I am in 62% shield. My drone's taking fire again. Let me pull the drones back. The prophecy now into low armor and they are also taking hull damage. And the prophecy was destroyed. Nice. Okay. Looted, and let me warp towards the base. I will also show you the kill, as I always do. Just waiting to warp out and cloak. Okay, now the ship is safe. That was a very lucky catch. I thought that they escaped, but the Stratus did its thing, and that was a nice kill. Let's go towards the next target.
Warp drive active.
I will go and tackle the next ship with the Stratus. This time I have the scanner and I have triple scramblers. Now I think we have one hurricane, a very cautious hurricane. They seem to be using a micro warp drive and they seem to be expecting a cloaky Stratus, so they are burning away from the mission. Now, how do you catch a target that's expecting you? Well, basically you have to be waiting for them, and you basically have to wait for the right moment. So I think after couple minutes they have returned. I have changed my build with the I have replaced the Nosferatu. I have replaced the scanner with the Nosferatu, and now I will go towards the mission. There is the hurricane. Now they are doing the mission. They haven't been tackled by anyone for at least 20 minutes. So they think that they are safe now. And that's basically how you go and engage a target like this. You basically have to wait for them. They have been scrambled. Now I'll proceed to orbit at 0. That is a very quick hurricane. They can be very fast. I have a couple friends that like to fly the hurricane, and they are actually pretty skilled with that ship. It's very interesting what skilled pilots can do with the normal ships. Skill is everything in this game, and that's what I actually really like about it. Okay, the hurricane tried to warp out, but it did not work. So now they have decided to shoot at me. I have been webbed. I have been scrambled. Okay, that's good. I will orbit at 0 and will hold. My tank will hold. The shield on the hurricane is slowly going down. Seems like they can't tank a lot of DPS. I also believe they have at least 1 or 2 aura stabs in the low slots, but I guess we will find that out very soon. Armor holding very well. Now the hurricane is in hull. They also used a tracking disruptor on my ship, although I don't use turrets, so the tracking disruptor did not work that well on missiles, as expected. Okay, let me warp away. That was a very nice target, very nice kill. Let me cloak and warp, and then I will show you the kill.
Warp
Overall,
drive
I think it was very successful so far. Let's take a look. 474 million is not bad. And yes, they did have 1 aura stab. And they did have some warp core optimizers as well. Very nice catch. Next target we have a
Warp
Drake.
drive active.
I was looking for the best warping, looking at the distance. Now I go to change the warping, and then I will go to tackle the ship. I don't want to change the build at the moment because I don't think I have enough time to do that, so I'll just quickly go and tackle the Drake. A Drake can be dangerous.
Warp drive active.
So this might be a little bit tricky. The Drake is actually a very solid ship if it has a pretty good fit, which can be said about most ships in the game. Skill and build is really important. Okay, that was a pretty good warping. Now let me slowly approach the Drake. They are moving towards my direction, so they will be engaged very quickly. Drake has been engaged, has been tackled. I will proceed to orbit at 0. Doesn't look like they have a lot of tank, so we will see how this will end up. They did start to shoot at my drones, so I pulled them back. We'll launch drones once the Drake starts shooting at me. That way I know that my drones will not be destroyed. Okay, drones are out. The Drake is now shooting at me. It would look like the Drake is using rapid missiles, which is a very nice choice against cruisers and frigates. Armor repairs up and running. Armor is holding well. The Drake is using one neutralizer and dual Nosferatus. And at this moment I actually wish that I brought the large Nosferatu with me. But it's okay. My ship should hold long enough, even with this build. Armor is getting repaired without a problem. Capacitor is getting a little bit low, but that should not be a big issue. Pull back my drones because, well, for some reason everyone loves to kill my drones, which is actually a pretty good tactic, but sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, that was a solid kill. Let me warp out, let me repair the armor, and let me cloak. And of course, once the ship is cloaked, I will show you the kill. To 281 million, not bad. And well, this Drake's build is a little bit cursed. There was one armor repair, not quite sure why, but it's there for some reason. Overall, a solid kill and some pretty nice loot as well. Let's go towards the next target. I think we have another prophecy. Let me see. We have, yes, it is another prophecy. Okay. It is prophecy season today. But I'm not complaining. We have some pretty good prophecy kills. Prophecies use drones. Drones are expensive. And we can get pretty good drone loot as well, so it's practically a big win for everyone. Okay, let me warp towards the ship. Okay, let me align towards the prophecy. They are 33 kilometers away from me. So I will slowly approach. They are aligned towards the station or planet. So yeah, I have to be very careful here, don't want them to warp away. And of course, this is why the Stratus is one of the best tackle ships. By the time they click warp, they are already tackled. So I can take my time to reach the prophecy. Maybe it would be the best idea to actually warp towards the station and then warp towards the optimal range and then tackle, but that might, you know, take a while. And it looks like the prophecy is actually very slow. I can easily catch the prophecy without the use of the afterburner. Almost within the optimal range. $14 kilometers, 13 kilometers, 12 kilometers. Let's attack. It's time to tackle the prophecy. By the time they react to a click warp, they have been scrambled, and now the prophecy will most likely go down. We will see what will happen. Again, anything is possible. I have also rammed the prophecy just in case they have a lot of stabs, but that ram was a little bit unnecessary, to be honest. Now that's a very interesting build. Looks like the prophecy is using large rapid missiles. That's the large rapid missile animation that you can see there. And it looks like they're also using medium missiles with a large missile launcher. Not really sure why, but what I observe based on the effects that we see on the game. The prophecy is in the hole. My armor holding very well. And my apologies if you hear something loud. It's a storm outside, and you know that might be the loud noise that you hear through the microphone. Okay, that was a very nice prophecy kill, by the way. And now let's warp away and take a look at the kill.
Warp drive active.
Overall, a very successful day for the Stratus. Not a bad kill. They did have aura stabs, and overall a very nice kill. Alright, well, that was a very nice roam with the Orthos and with the Stratus. And again, very glad that I didn't end up selling the Stratus. It's an amazing ship. So with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.